That's what happens when you live stream 19 times a day. You have the wrong song queued up. Hey, everybody.
I thought for a second that was the music from the Andor teaser. Like, is that the same song?
I can play that now if we want. Hey, for the Southern Galaxy, this is ForceCenter, a show about life, the universe, Star Wars, everything. It's Friday. I'm frazzled, but I'm happy to be here. I'm Ken Napzok.
There we go. Excellent. I'm Joseph Scrimshaw. Those are the two things we know today. It has been a long tradition of these Friday streams for us to come in hot. hot. Busy, frazzled, distracted, and then settle into a lovely time. Extra, frazzled is a constant state these days, I would say.
It is. And I was going to ask you, Joseph, why didn't you wear a suit for this? Okay. Show some respect to the stream and wear a suit. Oh, I didn't. I get rid of all mine.
Oh, man. And I like suits.
I do too.
I wear a suit. But man, what performative BS. Won't you do arbitrary thing that I say you do?
You know, I've been wearing this Ukrainian trident hat for a while now. Today, I might sleep in it. But anyways, we're here for a great reason, several great reasons. One, we love hanging out once a month in this Q&A format. We do questions live every week, but this is kind of a different vibe. And also, normally we do take calls, or we have been recently. Today, we're not going to take calls from our Patreon supporters, just us and your wonderful questions. We're going to talk about our favorite moments of hope. But Joseph, beyond that, the real reason we're here today is to try with what little power and position we have to give back and help some great folks in the world.
Yeah, this is an experiment in terms of using the wonderful little bit of power we do have, which is you, which is the community, which is the people watching. Yeah. That's the only power we have, is the community watching, to do the little bit that we can. I have long been on this thought train that a lot of our stories, while wonderful, really emphasize the one person who makes the difference, the leader who comes in, the one person who can pull the sword from the stone and cuts the beast's head off, defeats the dragon. And when you're baked in those stories, I think sometimes when you do use your power, and it's this little tiny drop of power, it can feel like you're doing absolutely nothing. And it's a thing I actively work against every day. Every time I do a little thing, I'm like, well, what? Did that even make a difference? But I think it really does make a difference. And so when thinking about the dark times, the difficult times that so many people are going through, one of the things we thought of is, well, we could use the super chats on our live stream that we do anyway to try to give to specific groups of people who specifically need help. We can't do everything. You can't donate to make all the problems go away now. It's not a button, sadly. So we pick some things that are close to our heart and trying to make a difference with the bit of power we have.
We have, and we in the description, if you're watching live, and I know some of you might be listening later on the audio version on the podcast side, so we'll try to get those links out there. We'll post them as well. But in the description, there's 3 links actually to 2 different organizations. I'll explain the 2 links I have up there, but Joseph, take away with charity of choice here.
I want to support Trans Lifeline, and Trans Lifeline is basically an organization that helps trans people in many different ways. Here's what the actual organization says about themselves on their About page. Trans Lifeline is a grassroots hotline and nonprofit organization offering direct emotional and financial support to trans people in crisis for the trans community by the trans community. Obviously, trans people are in a great amount of crisis. I am blessed to have many trans friends in my life. I'm blessed to have been able to see people's journey to become more fully themselves. And how beautiful it is, the bravery and honesty it takes. We should all be so lucky is to become the fullest, best, most honest versions of ourselves and enjoy the happiness that comes from that. And these wonderful people are being singled out to be an other. And I think it's very important to support people because they are in trouble. And it is also, to me, important to support trans people because they are really at the tip of the spear of the othering that is going on in American politics.
Yeah, the great fear of the other, which is unfortunately a very successful tactic that has worked time and time again. And really love that this is part of what we're doing here today. And Yeah, we'll put it up again too. There's the numbers on there if that's U.S. and Canada, not U.S. and California, which for a second I thought this morning I was like, oh, no, U.S. and Canada. That is the Trans Lifeline number as well. So that is one thing we got going here. The other thing today is an organization I've worked with for the last few years through a friend, Jeff Saunders, St. Baldricks Foundation. It's about conquering childhood cancers, and what started as a challenge 25 years ago, they write, has become the largest volunteer movement to save kids with cancer. Their work is not done. Part of the reason we're here today, and part of what they do every year, is a shave-a-thon event that could be local. It's kind of nationwide, but also there's local ones, and that's how I came to work with this organization. My friend Jeff Saunders is a nurse at a hospital that focuses on childhood cancers, and that's tough work, as you can imagine, but Jeff approaches it every day with a great spirit. He's a ForceCenter friend and listener, and he has a specific shave-a-thon event in his hometown where he lives now, his hospital, New Bronzeville, Texas. So in the description, there's if you want to just super chat to us, Joseph and I will be taking your questions with super chats. We're putting all those to these organizations. If you want to do a direct one as well, the links are in the description to Trans Lifeline and St. Baldrick's Foundation, and a specific one to Jeff's event. You go wherever your heart takes you to go. But one of the reasons this is important for me, as always has been, but right now with what's going on with these cuts and the mass confusion, and in the middle of it, research for cancer and the foundations of a lot of research work is what's being undercut. So there's also research that's been in action, and then suddenly, boom, cut off, gone. And so now it's completely, not only the money gone and wasted, the research is wasted because they can't finish the line. And so this is just a small, as Joseph said earlier, small focused way to focus on this disease and those that hits hard. The childhood cancers is obviously a tough thing. So two great charities that are very needed, and we're happy to support them here. And thank you all for letting us do this too.
And thank you all for the super chats that are already coming in. As Ken said, feel free to donate however makes sense to you. And also, as we're going to get into the topic of the day, we're going to talk hopeful moments of Star Wars. Ken and I will share some. If you have some you want to share, that's fine. If you have some Star Wars questions that you want to throw in the chat, well, we will star those as we go as well. And we'll try to spend a little bit of time in the light during this time of darkness. And as always, we'll try to get to all the questions and all the comments, but the super chats in particular today, since we're running the charity stream, we will highlight.
We'll highlight indeed. And JMB asked this question, checking in from Japan. Can I leave you a super thanks in the comments later? End of the month run fumes. Of course, absolutely. As Joseph said too, donate at your own speed or your own abilities. Totally get that. And just being here and sharing the stream and being part of the stream, liking the stream, all those things that are normally just cynical YouTube things we do to help getting the word out. But yeah, absolutely. If we see a super thanks come in later, which is something that can happen after the videos have gone live, we'll absolutely include it in what is going on here today and going forward.
Absolutely. And then we'll share this
Scob the Empire.
Scob the Empire to get into our spirit of hope. Scob. Lots of great comments in the chat. Lots of great scobbing. So Ken, where would you like to go first here?
Yeah, well, it's our big I think I always forget there's no need for credit, but I think you had the idea of like, what should the stream be about? Hope should be about, and I just that just made a lot of sense. And so it's not a Star Wars ranked episode. We're not doing the top 10 competing. We're just talking about our favorite moments of hope in Star Wars. Without a doubt, hope is a cornerstone of the Star Wars structure and the Star Wars franchise, and it's out there in so many different ways. Just in your own personal way, you can find hope for yourself if you're down and out. Man, I've been struggling the last couple of weeks here, so sometimes I need personal hope, even if that personal hope is I don't know, like I got one of them candy bars that's actually a bowl of cereal and milk in candy bar form. That was hope I needed. There's small hope, and then there's big hope, and we're here to discuss that here today. Hope is hope, Joseph, but are you looking across the spectrum of hope today as a Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I realized when I was brainstorming on hopeful moments that they were all really different, and I thought people might actually define hope in different ways, because the first one that came to my mind, and I've mentioned it before, is in Rise of Skywalker, Rey down and out on Exegol,
Right.
reaching into the cosmic force, doing the thing that she had thought was impossible, which was to connect to the Jedi of the past. And I can see lots of other nouns or descriptions being given to that scene. It's about encouragement. It's about connection. It's about cheerleading. The other Jedi are basically saying, "You got this, Rey." But I think for me, there's something so hopeful about it, because one of the lines in that's so moving to me is Yoda's "Alone, never have you been," and I think that's where that sense of hope comes from. Is to me, hopelessness isn't just feeling like things won't work out on a real personal level. It's feeling like I'm alone and I can chip away at this forever, but because I'm alone, it's never going to happen. It's never going to work. And realizing, even when you feel very alone, that you are not alone. I mean, can you imagine, in your most down and out 2 a.m. alone in your underwear, you're just going like, this is not going to happen. Nothing I want to be can happen. And if you were able to just suddenly hear the voices of people who love you go, "It's okay. Finish your ice cream and whiskey and start again. You got this." Like,
Ken, finish that cereal bar, candy bar. I love that moment, and you and I have talked openly. This isn't a day to worry about what Star Wars stories we love more than others. You and I are big fans of Rise of Skywalker in an overall sense and what it does, and I think part of the fun is owning parts of it that we love. And I always say there's about 6 points I cry in. That's one of it. But I have to tell you, like, it moved you, and then you telling the story of it moving you. The next time I saw it, it moved me. It's like it's in a big hope circle. It's just I key on it every time. It's not just what Rey needed; it's what we all needed here. And one of my favorite moments I'll talk about more is Zori Bliss kind of setting that up with they win by making you think you're alone. And God, even moved by it now, just to hear that line, and it was perfect for Yoda, the Yoda speak, the broken sentence structure, the grammar, but also he has a calm gentleness that is also slightly frail. So it's this beautiful, like even a 900-year-old Force ghost is there for you, and I love it. Just a moment that moves me, and it speaks volumes for what hope in Star Wars can be.
Yeah. Yeah, man, maybe you'll talk about it. It is deeply tied to the more of us, more of us. I think it's thematic side, and that's a great moment. I have another one because it's a different kind of hope, but I want to hear yours first, Ken. What is one of your examples of a favorite hopeful moment in Star Wars?
All right, I went basic, Joseph, at first, okay? Because you make your list, and you and me and Jennifer. And by the way, Jennifer sends regards. Fridays, real tough, just real life. It was a kid school situation, so Friday's tough for her, but she sends her love, and obviously we want to be here. We talk about Star Wars so much, you just think it's going to come natural. Oh, I got like 30 hope moments. Hold on, hold my beer. I got this, and I was drawing blanks. So I went back to one of the moments that. I felt hope when I least expected it, and that is the end of Revenge of the Sith. And when I say least expected it, that was back during the days where my relationship with the movies was a little different. My mind wasn't as open to the themes behind it, and blah, blah, blah. Again, this isn't the day or the stream to litigate all that. But I do specifically remember one time, my old apartment, the apartment you first met me in, which was a dark den of iniquity at times. I remember had Revenge of the Sith on. I remember this is when I was like, I'm not supposed to tell anyone that I like this movie. And I was watching it, and the ending came on. I was just laying in bed. It was a Saturday afternoon, just watching it. And the kids are taken. It's a dark time. And that final shot of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru and Luke. And it's, of course, at the time we thought this is it. This is the last shot in Star Wars. We're never gonna see another. But also it leads to A New Hope. And it seems so simple. It seems basic, but that's what I love about this. I remember so many times during that era, this is about 06, 07, 08 range, where I would just race into watching A New Hope afterwards. That you just wanted to feel it. And you had just gone through these movies about trials and tribulations, the fall of Anakin. Revenge of the Sith is, it's dark. It's a darker film. Where it ends, and to just have that looking towards the sunset and knowing what it connects to as a Star Wars fan. But I think as I got older, I connected to what it meant to the overall story and the idea of hope. I love that moment, and I didn't want to overlook it today.
I think that's a great one. I think that the movie is pretty relentlessly dark. everybody loses.
Yeah.
But just to know that, hey, even in the darkest moment, there is still hope. Is it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The one I
Yeah.
wanted to share too, because I think I thought of a lot of hopeful moments where triumph is right around the corner.
Yes.
Luke flipping and catching the lightsaber and returning the Jedi. That's a hopeful moment for me of like everything's turned around. But having a hope while you're still going through the darkest part of things. I've talked a lot about, I loved Empire Strikes Back as a kid, but as I got into my teen years and started watching it on VHS and having lots of different problems in life, I got out of Empire Strikes Back because it was just fun, not fun, I guess, cathartic to see my heroes going through pain too, and knowing that they would come out of it. So a hopeful moment for me is in the Bespin freezing chamber scene where Chewie's trying to fight the overwhelming odds. And he's tossing the stormtroopers, right? And kind of a normal scene would be, and Chewie saves the day, right? And I love it that even Han, like Mr. Pull a wild stunt. A wild stunt's always going to work. Just be like, it's not the time. Him saying there will be another time. That's an incredibly hopeful thing for Han to say, right? That whole thing is hopeful about keeping your light in the face of oppression and literally being, terrorized by an authoritarian government of like, we can't win right now, but protect the people we love. And Han also being like, and I'm not going to hide myself. I'm going to say the most emotionally vulnerable thing in front of all of these fascists, but specifically saying to Chewie, there'll be another time. That's really hopeful of like, this isn't the end.
I absolutely loved you are putting this into the emotional canon, connection machine. And, we go to Last Jedi, this is how we win speech, which is a great moment. But that's why it works for me. I love that you're pulling it out of a classic moment that we probably reenacted on the playgrounds, right? Like, and then, all right, then Chewie gets upset. But the idea of not now, but there will be a time, you've got to save and be there for her. Mm-hmm. And even at that moment, Han doesn't know what's happening to him. Yeah, and you and I have spoken often. I love the I love you, I know moment for various reasons, including the towels you can buy, but also what it means for crusty old Han to say that, and for Leia to admit it for herself, which is part of her character arc, and blah blah blah. Not really tied to the bigger picture, but that's a little building block to a bigger thing of hope.
Mm-hmm. Any more from you before we dive into some of the great ones being shared in the chat?
Yeah, there's a lot for the chat. For me, Leia and a Rogue One hope. It's funny for me because I remember even coming out of that movie being like a little on the nose with the hope, right? And that's 2016, Ken. And now all these years later, I'm like, please more on the nose hope. Yes. Please can we have hope?
In that, I think in storytelling, I will take really blatant, goofy levels of saccharine hope if it's balanced by actual difficulty getting there. And I think the chain of people who have to give their lives, including the person who realizes I'm not getting through this door, but the hope can.
Yep, the hope can.
that earns the otherwise on the nose moment for me.
So agree, yeah, and that changed years ago. But I just because that was also that's the digital media landscape that's still in effect for a lot of folks. But back then, I just had a off-air conversation with our pal Billy Patterson, who was like, dude, he's like, for whatever reason, I went back and listened to the ForceCenter Force Awakens gut reaction review episode, and I was like, oh, and he goes, yeah, you were a different Ken then. And it was like, because you just felt like you had to, you came for that, not saying everyone, but just it come from this world where it's like, God, they said hope like 15 times. And it's like, yeah, maybe you should listen. Maybe you should take it in and listen. So I wanted to celebrate that moment. You and I will probably talk about it again. I'll just roll call these. The Rise of Skywalker, it's not a Navy, it's people. I was surprised. That was one of those seeing it upon the first and second time where I did that like that emotional crying where you're like, I'm not afraid to cry in public. Mr. Holland's Opus, I bawled till they had to wheel me out of the theater. Okay. But I just I wasn't expecting that. And it's powerful even now. The Zori Bliss moment, they win when when we think we're alone. I wanted to jump to two of I love Leia. Talk about being alone. Luke dangling beneath Cloud City, and just that little moment of Leia saying, "We got to go back." She doesn't really know. She knows what the Force is, but she doesn't think she has it. She doesn't know. There's these things all her life that we now know as canon has rolled on. That she jumped farther than she planned. She had some instinct. In that moment, she doesn't know. It is feeling. It is the hope of the moment, and the hope of I'm committing to this, and we can't leave him, and we're not going to leave him. But that's a pretty powerful moment, and it's a big Leia moment for me. But I love that in terms of Star Wars. And the final one from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, setting up the trying to explain the Force to Leia. You ever have the lights off and then you turn the lights on and they come back when he saves her, and that going through that hallway of painful memories, going through the Terrace Newbeg, dear God, someone text Joseph to make sure he's all right scene, to him turning on that blade. And it's not just about the weapon and action, but him as a Jedi and providing her that hope that he explained early on. I love it. It's one of my favorite hopeful moments.
There's so many good examples. Somebody in chat was saying the twin sons. That's a pretty big one. Yes. Our friend Matthew Stokes, is binary sunset not the most hopeful expression there is? That is one that literally gave me hope. I was really needing to get out of my living situation as a young man, and that feeling of, God, I know I can be better. I know I can do better. I know there's something out there for me. I know I can be a part of the world. And the certainty and the sadness that's in that music. Yeah, that was really, that got me through a lot. Later in life, Luke, his whole every word you said he was wrong. The rebellion is reborn today. The war is just beginning, and I will not be the last Jedi. The certainty of that, the power of that, saying the name of the film, and somehow still people didn't hear. He literally said, "And I will not be the last Jedi." And he didn't add, and it's a bummer because the Jedi should end. He said, Jedi. Sorry.
I know today. Yeah, but it's hard to escape that.
As I sit with it over the years, the number of people who were like, but Luke wanted the Jedi to end.
Yeah, he didn't say to Kylo, everything you said is right. The Jedi should end.
You've got some solid points, Kylo. We really should here. This is there could be so many, but the last one that I'll share, because it's just kind of a recent one, is that Barriss Offee moment in Tales of the Jedi. We have seen her so indoctrinated, we've seen how twisted the other Inquisitor is, the ex-sister. I can never remember which number.
Four.
And has that how much she has twisted herself to be like, there's an answer to everything, even if the logic of what we're doing doesn't make sense. And to see somebody like Barriss be able to see through that and to like not basically like to see through the kind of Orwellian doublespeak of the Empire can never be wrong, no matter how much what we're doing is clearly, obviously, morally awful. We can never be wrong. And to see her break through that and have that triumphant moment of not just saving the guy, but saying you have another Jedi to deal with. So it's such a reaffirmation of the core principles of the Jedi from somebody who doubted the Jedi and made bad choices based on those honest criticisms.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Now, it's a great moment to pull from. So many moments to pull from. We'll start pulling up some of yours here. If you're just joining, some numbers jumped up here. It's our normal ForceCenter monthly Q&A hang live show, but today we are doing it as a charity drive. All your super chats are going to help us support Trans Lifeline and also St. Baldricks Foundation, Conquering Childhood Cancers. Two things. Two organizations, two of many, I should say, but something we're here supporting today. And you are helping us do that with your super chats and your questions and just sharing the stream. Robert, thanks for the generous donation there. Svetnik, hopeful Star Wars moment. Never more than 12 from Andor. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a fist pumping moment, but I like to, it's aggressive hope.
Yeah, no, I mean that really is some good hope in a dark time.
hope. I'm about to choke on a lunch. Joseph, let's take over.
Yeah. Michael McCartzel, thank you for dropping in. Says, can't watch live. I've got D&D in just a little. Wonderful reason.
That's good. That's good.
But I just want to say that I'm proud of the Force Friend Trio. I'm grateful that you three always stand up for what's right. Thanks for promoting these great causes. Thank you very much for the super chat. Michael, I didn't pre-read it, so I didn't realize it was just compliments, which is very kind. We want to hear people's thoughts as well. Also, CC Russell said, I can't stay for the live as I'm at work, but thank you for doing this. Well, I'll need some hope right now. Thank you, CC, and hopefully you can catch it on the rerun. You know, the YouTube rerun.
Yeah, you and I were raised in the rerun generation. It's going to go into syndication.
Food in my beer says, Scob the Empire.
Dan, thank you. 8984 did that. I think that is that a heart? What's the emoji? What is that now? So, I've never been older. I don't know if I'm not gonna. I do not know, and so I will not hazard an actual guess. It looks to me like a 3/4 shot of a penguin looking up toward the sun. That's what it is. I like that, but it's a salute. It's a salute. Okay.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense than the penguin looking to the sky in hope.
Love that.
Ken, do you have a drink today? We normally have drinks on the shows.
Yes, I am pounding down Gatorade Zero. That's all I needed to be hydrated with sugar water.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Matthew Stokes, fight the great fear of the other. It is, it's such a simple tactic that has just unfortunately worked for centuries and centuries and centuries. And it's so easy to fall for, it really is. And so to call it out and fight it and just have stories of hope built around fighting that or going around it or going through it or going over it, I think is important. And what we're doing here today.
And I think it does, to me, really tie into the message of Star Wars, and particularly the dark side, that it just taps into anger, just righteous anger with no logic attached to it. And I think that's what the Sith preach of. It's always somebody else's fault. You should always be angry, no matter how much entire lack of logic is attached to that. So it's indeed. Yeah, it's a real dark side trick.
It is indeed. Some other great moments of hope. Ben Wellington, Luke standing in front of the First Order in Crate, or so we thought, until we found out he pulled the greatest force rank of all time. Yes, which first time out, I fell for it. I was there with Kylo. It's such a great moment for so many reasons. Also, just one of the best shot moments. It's a great art piece, and being paid off from earlier. I think it's funny that Luke's like, "What do you want me to go outside with a lightsaber and face the whole Empire?" And then, but I'll do it in my way. But just such a simple and direct moment of hope in Star Wars.
I still remember the applause when we cut to him floating above the rock. So good. Here's what's giving me hope. Molly Damon's comment. Been a weird couple of days and I'm exhausted and about to make a very strong dirty martini. Cheers, Molly. Joy.
Love it. More coming in here. Well, Cameron was right there with you, Joseph. Rebellion was born today. The war is just beginning, and I will not be the last Jedi. Man, even just reading it, that's a mic drop moment. Full of hope. Full of hope. Thank you, Cameron, for that contribution.
And we got one here from Will Dixon as well. Thank you, Will. We're not on our journey to save the world, but to save ourselves. But in doing that, you save the world. The influence of a vital person vitalizes. Joseph Campbell is some great Joseph Campbell quote. And I think I see that quote in Luke Skywalker's journey of he is this great hope, and ultimately he helps a lot of people by going through his own personal journey, to deal with his family bullshit.
Which has a little bit of effect on the galaxy.
It does.
I've just missed one. Oh God, where did that go? I just accidentally unfavorited one, which pulled it from the list. I'm gonna go look for Jeannie from Tahini's super chat. If you want to find one that you like.
Yes.
Bless my fingers.
From VLMG, Hope, the end of Empire Strikes Back when C-3PO, R2-D2, Luke, and Leia are looking at the galaxy after all the pain they've been through. It reminds me of the end of Papillon when Steve McQueen shouts, "I'm still here, bastard." I am not familiar with that Steve McQueen film. I have not watched it, but now I really want to. Now I want just a close-up of Leia whispering, "I'm still here, bastards."
Yeah. You know what? A great form of resistance and a great form of hope is survival, huh? And being here. Love that. Thank you, Victor, for that one. And then found it, Jeannie from Deanie. Thank you for the very generous super chat going towards charity today. We have hope. Rebellions are built on hope. Yeah. And look, again, I'm harping on myself, not just beating this talking point into a stick, but like you remember, even off air during the trailer, that trailer for Rogue One, I was like, I don't know about this moment, Joseph. I don't know. I don't know about rebellions are built on hope and 10 men make Neo highlights one of my favorite lines now. Make 10 men feel like 100. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, God. It's just a hopeful, wonderful moment in the rebellion's history and the Star Wars story. I was stupid.
Yeah,
I apologize.
And it kind of connects also to that Joseph Campbell quote that we just had previously of Cassian is a vital person who helps Jyn tap into her vitalness. Because she's repeating Cassian's quote, which is not to take the power away from it, but just I think to illustrate how we can help support one another and help each other to get to a place of hope. Yeah. I mean, the whole does it feel empty or cheesy to just say hope? Is like, I think it is when it's just a word, but Rogue One is an entire film showing us the actions behind hope. No one would accuse the characters of Rogue One of being keyboard warriors. Put it that way.
No one's shown up to them and said, "Where's your suit?"
Yeah.
You don't want peace. Apparently, you didn't wear a suit today. Sorry. This morning was weird. A lot of super chats sliding in. If you're just joining us, charity stream. We are donating, of course, today to St. Baldricks Foundation, Conquering Childhood Cancers, and Trans Lifeline. There are the numbers there as well. Some links are in the description too, if you want to do them directly. And also, you'll see the link. Under the St. Baldricks link is my pal Jeff Saunders, who is a nurse at a hospital dealing only with childhood cancers and illnesses, and he has a specific St. Baldricks Shave-a-thon, which is what they do every year to raise money. So that link is down there as well. This is JMB puts this moment. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. I love that as a moment of hope, Joseph. It's this great kind of understanding of the Force that we all need to learn or take notes on. But just there is, I don't know, there's something in hopeful, even with him kind of grabbing Luke and being like, this isn't the fight, man. This isn't the fight.
Yeah. It is obviously a very spiritual statement, but the thing that I think about with that is the idea that we're more than the sum of our parts. And to me, the Force can mean a million things, but such an essential part of it is we are all connected. And if we're all connected, then having care and empathy for one another is clearly vital, as what happens to one of us affects all of us. To me, that one very beautiful spiritual statement kind of unlocks that train of thought and emotion for me.
Ooh, I love that idea. Unlocking that train of hope. That train of hope thought.
Train of hope thought.
Train of hope thought. Train of hope.
Soul Asylum's second album, right?
You said that. Runaway train of hope thought. Osvednik has this one. Come on. I've made this moment my identity for 10 years. This is Apparatus of the Rebel Lines. I'm not lying, man. It's a fun Star Wars. Saw it in the theater, at a press screening for the first time and came running out like a kid. But it's one of those days where I'm not really thinking about it and just Rogue One's on. That moment comes out. I do start crying. I do get emotional because I'm plugged into the Star Wars story of the rebellion, which has this. We're reading, Mask of Fear, the early origins. We got Luthen and his sunless mind. We got all these kind of things that build a rebellion. We'll talk about others here as moments of hope. But I just love because it is hope in action. It is the moment for talking is done, and we're not necessarily translating that into the real world as always like we got to form an army and do that, maybe. But like I just love it for this story and a movie that is, as we've discussed, that's about hope, a bumper sticker word. That is Radis putting that flipper down and going, no longer. I am going to be the hammer of hope, and we're taking the fleet to Scarif.
David Mackay makes this wonderful joke. Senator Noah Jabel, she's not even wearing a suit. I think we've been bashing Senator Noah Jabel the person who built the alliance, and when it comes for the alliance to truly step up and do what the alliance was built to do, he's like, we shouldn't do that.
Love that, David. That's great.
I bet a lot of us are probably, sending angry texts and phone calls to our Senator Noah Jabels to be like, isn't this why you're here?
Yeah.
Isn't this why we gave you power, Senator Noah Jabel?
What can we do against the Death Star? They hold the Death Star and the Senate. What can we do? I'm going to go on a book tour. All right. Rich T, what chance do we have? What choice do we have? Part of that. Yeah. And again, I love that speech moment. And shout out to Alexander Freed for doing such a wonderful Rogue One novelization that expanded on, as novelizations do, the ideas that were in the film and they were there. And it just made me love that scene even more. When initially I was like, not sure. And yeah, we got the "What is she proposing" line, which is a classic. But I love that scene even more because of that novel.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that the novel makes it clear, like, this is a long meeting.
Yes. Yeah. Then
and Jyn Erso's eruption at the end is after explaining things to them 800 times and letting them debate, and then being like, for bleep's sake, are we going to do something or not?
Yeah.
Great.
Rolling through all the other ones as well. Not rolling through. We're spending time with them today. Brian Ward. Hey, our buddy Brian. Adult Omega leaving to join the rebellion always gives me hope. I've watched it a lot recently. And number one, we need to move Brian out of his town. And two, I love it's a quiet determination in terms of hope and the spectrum of hope. It is I need to do this, want to do this. I love everything about the ending with Omega. And whether we see more or not, I don't know. I hope so. I hope to see more.
I think it's just such a beautiful story. If we watched 3 seasons of the Batch committing their lives to giving safety and prosperity to Omega, and for her to say, like, you have to understand, I can't just sit here and hide. I have to be part of that. You taught me to fight for what is right,
Yeah, so good. Yeah, you taught me. I'm going to drop some links in if you want to pull more up. I'm going to drop those links in chat for direct support.
We got this nice one from Phil. Thank you so much, Phil. Phil says, you'll stay with me, Lonnie. I need all the heroes I can get. Cut to Cassian and Melshi running barefoot across the desolate Narkina 5 landscape as the music swells. Tears in my eyes just thinking about it. Thanks for all you do, Joseph, Ken, and Jen. Thank you, Phil. That is extremely kind. And I hadn't thought to talk about hope in the form of cuts, but that is such great filmmaking to go from that idea of I need all the heroes I can get to not just 2 future heroes, but knowing that those are most likely the only survivors from this massive act of hope that all those prisoners made together. I think it's another, example of the whole Rogue One Andor storytelling that really earns its hope by showing very difficult truths of only Cassian and Melshi getting out, but that mattering.
Getting out to scab the Empire. We've talked often about Luthen as a character. Sometimes I admit to even poking the Luthen bubble of, how good is he? How bad is he? I don't know. But at the end of the day, he's there on our side and driving so much forward. And the speech is great. It's a great moment. It's one of the best acted moments in Star Wars. I love that Phil highlighted the end. I've always loved that because you got Lonnie, who's putting his life on the line. He's putting his family's, I want to give some credit to Lonnie. Good old Lonnie. Hiding in the Empire there, and just he's hopeless at that moment, and it's tough love from old Luthen. But I love that in the cut. It really drives home the power of the Narkina arc to me.
Yeah, and thinking about that scene more, it was a good question for Lonnie to ask, because if he's only ever meeting Luthen when Luthen's kind of got a little bit of his finery on, like, what are you doing, man? Is I think
That's a great point. That's also a great point. Yeah.
We've had lots of fun discussing how Andor is gritty and real and even a little bit more real world, down to seeing Tim Carlos socks. I do kind of appreciate that Lonnie is almost like a name that you would give somebody just so you can include it at the end of a speech in an angry way. I gave everything. Okay, Lonnie. It's Lonnie. A great name. Great name.
It is. It's this great moment in the rain. It's the Lonnie. I love that. Love that. All right. Thank you for the comments and questions and the super chats as we donate to Trans Lifeline and St. Baldricks today. I did put links in the chat if you want to directly go to them, but that's where we'll be putting our super chat earnings today here. Lord Romo. Hey, Romo, probably a little on the nose, but the Mon Mothma speech from Rebels is a moment of hope that shows Mon and the others that there are some of us in this fight. More of us in this fight than we realize. I wouldn't on the nose in the sense of Mothma was on the nose of what needed to be said. And I love that we are going to be maybe spending some more time with Mothma to get to that point. And I like a lot of people. I do agree. I'd love to see it in some way, shape, or form in the show because it's a powerful moment. And it's often we think of hope as looking towards the sun or, quiet little intimate moments. That is a declaration of action and hope, and one of the best moments in Star Wars. So, thank you, Rebels, for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what a great moment of activism, organizing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Roman, for that. Patrick Murray saying Ahsoka's decision to rejoin the fight at the end of Tales of Jedi, so quiet and powerful. Love that too. I'm due for a Tales of Jedi and Tales of the Empire rewatch, because I love what those episodes do, and yeah. Because Ahsoka has every reason to not have hope.
Yeah.
Every reason to turn away.
I love the way that episode is structured, too. It would be beautiful if it was just Ahsoka had been hiding out and she has that moment where she realizes she can't turn her back. But I love the way it's set up with Bail having that clarity of you're still needed and call me when you're ready to get back in the fight. It's such a beautiful way to set up that whole thing. So I think that episode of Tales of the Jedi is a hope triumph for Ahsoka and for Bail.
Indeed. Absolutely agree with that. We got Rich T checking in. The fact that more Star Wars is coming out is hope. Movies, shows, books, comics, video games. Society is devolving into fascism. Couldn't they stop entertainment? They're definitely going to try. More coming is my hope. And I really agree with that, Rich. These are, we sometimes we don't want to swing and crash into the real world in ForceCenter, and other times we do. And I don't know. I think we will during Andor season 2. But I think that's a good thing to celebrate. And even this week with the president of the company, I think sort of defiantly saying, "Yeah, still here, buddies, still here. I'll tell you when I'm going, Lonnie." Yeah, absolutely. I'm 71, 72 years old. I definitely want to, go do other things or put my feet in the sand every once in a while on the weekends. But I'm still here. Yeah, it's still coming. The power of Star Wars is still on the way, and new Star Wars is new hope. So I'm with the Rich T.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be talking about the surprise Kathleen Kennedy interview.
Tune into Star Wars news.
Yeah, that was really I will take the mic. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
was great.
Yeah.
Want to highlight this nice message from Liv Ramsey as a trans girl stuck in Texas. Thank you. The Exegol fleet is a fave in the face of terror and evil. They gave up their complacency and fought against the tide. There are more of us. Thank you, Liv, for joining us, and thank you for the kind words and for the great example of hope. That Exegol fleet moment is a favorite. A couple different lines and perspectives that we always celebrate of there are more of us, Poe. It's not a navy, it's just people. But I continue to think that really is it is a blatant message about working together. I think that I say kind of jokingly, but truly, that's a moment about voter turnout. That's a moment of choosing to show up, as Liv says.
Yeah. Love that, Liv. Thanks for that. And I know a lot of people in Texas, and there's it's easy to stereotype and partition off your thoughts of states in general, or based on the leaders. So hopefully you got some good friends out there. You got a friend here in ForceCenter, but a lot of good people in Texas. There absolutely is. Yeah, including Jasmine Crockett, one of my favorites.
Yes, I have friends in Texas as well, and yes, we should be, I think, lifting up everybody who wants kindness and empathy too. reign.
Indeed. Though occasionally you need a fiery speech. Romo saying what others in chat brought up as well. Marva Andor's speech as well as I mentioned. What a speech! Yeah, I think where did Alex Damon has said it best? Scrolling down. Oh gosh, yeah. Marva's speech makes me want to run through walls. She'd be a great football coach. Yes, I just rewatched that whole series last month and. That speech is even better than I remembered it, and I liked it a lot already, you know?
It's so honest and accurate about trying to live through it all and just live with it and ignore it.
Yeah.
I think that's what gives it its power. If it was just a fiery speech, it'd be awesome. But the slow build of the complacency to Brasso, pick up the brick. Let's go.
I was just gonna say that's the Lonnie of that speech. It's Brasso's picking up her brick and
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And hey, right here we have another person. Definitely, maybe. I'm still insisting that Marva's speech and Brasso's brick are the moment of hope and community working together. Yeah.
Definitely, maybe. Definitely, yes. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And this isn't entirely hope related, but my wife and I are finally watching Killing Eve, and Fiona Shaw is a powerhouse.
Yeah,
so great.
Yeah. Our pal Jeff May has a weird obsession with the fact that she's in Star Wars. He means it in a good way. And he has collected several of her Star Wars Andor trading cards because he's just like, isn't it weird? Fiona Shaw has a Star Wars card. Speaking of Star Wars Explained, Molly's here, Alex is here as well. They should be working and editing videos, but I'm glad they're here. Now, poor Martinis. I love this answer, Alex. Fern's pinpricks of light speech and Skeleton Crew is my more recent favorite moment of hope. Tied the series together so well. It tied the series together as well and moved me in a way that in that moment I wasn't expecting either. And I love those unexpected bursts of hope in Star Wars. It's a great moment and deserves its place there.
Yeah, I think, strong ideas, beautiful ideas have to be sort of simplified in a way that we can hold them. In just the phrase pinpricks of light is a simple idea that we can hold, but I love how multi-layered and complex it is, as other people in the chat are talking about, of how it reflects the positive version of Jod's negative view, and also how it reflects the people of At-Atin seeing the sky for the first time, and they could concentrate on, well, it's not our beautiful blue cloud anymore. It's terrifying, endless darkness. You could concentrate on that, or you could literally concentrate on the stars. It's so well woven together as a piece of writing and visual storytelling.
Really is. Really is. And Molly says, we are still editing. We're both multitasking. And then Dan at the Food My Beard's probably editing food videos. We all should be editing videos, but you know what? It's not a sea of editors. It's just people. We're all editing videos together.
I can pull up my film and keep editing. Monster Attack.
Joseph's editing. I should be editing a show reel for the Blathering. And we all should edit today. We got others here. Cameron saying, also Leia quote about that Holdo says, if you only believe in the sun when you see it, you'll never make it through the night. Love that moment. Love that it connects with Poe too as well.
Yeah. JMB giving a little shout out to Wim. Yeah, Wim looking up at the chips makes you think that's when he realizes the path to good isn't just to be a Jedi. Yeah. Such a beautiful last shot.
Yeah, but love it indeed. Cool. Let me just check. I lost my place here. Getting to the back end of the YouTube channel. Billionth Kevin, the warrior, the child, and the fool. You are never one of these in time. You'll all become the rebels, legends of the Lasat. Ooh, yeah, love that. Yeah, absolutely. The warrior, the child, and the fool makes I think a little bit of Book of Boba Fett as well.
And somebody else was saying earlier, Kaelus's arc in Rebels.
Yes.
Quite hopeful and inspiring.
And not just that he turns into Hot Kallus. No,
I mean, but it is a good advertisement. If we're like, look, among the many reasons to walk away from fascism
is the skincare routines. No, absolutely.
Let your hair go.
Absolutely. Andy Sanders says this will sound cheesy, but it's what you folks are doing that gives me hope. Hey, we're just doing a small part. It's really nothing. We'd be talking into the wind if you all weren't here today, and your donations are awesome as we raise money for Trans Lifeline and St. Baldricks Foundation here. So we appreciate that, Andy. Really do.
Absolutely. We got more coming in here. I've been in the wrong spot here, so
I popped in the wrong spot too.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna make sure. JC, it's people.
Yes.
Weeping emoji, and weepy emoji. So hopeful. That is great. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll take a. Well, this is a form of hope. I think sometimes when you're battling for something that's a deep, long shot, you've been told that it's not likely to happen, and yet you keep striving for it. That's the kind of hope we're seeing here from Jared, who says, "Hey, Ken, ever check out this awesome show, Deep Space Nine?"
Look, now, I said yes. Go ahead. Yes, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I said yesterday on my show, The Blathering, that look, fine. I will agree to my pal Jen Miro picking out 3 of her favorite episodes, and I'll watch them out of context or out of order, and that's might be as far as I get, Jared. But Joseph's right. Keep hope alive. You don't know. You never know.
Is your resistance the time commitment? Are you afraid of falling in love with DS9 and needing to make room in your life for it?
No. I think it'd not be bad. Look, man, I once watched 7 seasons of Gilmore Girls, all 22 to 24 episodes a season at an hour. I watched it in like 6 weeks, and I don't remember my life during that time. I lost a lot. So maybe there's a little fear. Maybe there's a little fear. Or maybe, I'm just playing with Jared a little bit.
It is one of the greatest shows ever made.
Yeah.
It is,
yeah.
Yes.
So I hear.
Deeply rich and controversially one of the best Star Trek shows, in my opinion, because it just hits the ground running. If some people say the first season is rocky, that's only in comparison to how brilliant the rest of it is. Such great characters. I can show you my Morn action figure, but only if you watch it, Ken.
I'll get there. Look, right. I'm finishing up season 2 of Hacks. Like I'm about 4 years behind all my TV shows. So there. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive, Jared. And Cameron says love Morn. So there you go, Morn fans. Lauren Roman checking back in. Also feel the moment Ray pulls the lightsaber to herself in Force Awakens. That gave me hope as a female fan. Hey, hope comes in a lot of forms. There's a lot of layers of hope in that one, and I really agree with Lauren's take. It's such a powerful moment for reasons outside the story as well as within. It's a great moment too. It's a great moment, and a moment too where even Mark Hamill had said, depending on which mood or moment he was in, of like that, I thought Blade could have gone to Luke, and I think in that moment in that theater, I've talked about for 10 years now. I thought that was swinging across to Luke. And then when it hit Ray, man, it either makes a lot of sense for you in that moment, or we need you to grow into that feeling, because it's perfection. I love it. Everything about it.
Yeah. I remember, I don't think Last Jedi had even come out yet, and it was playing on the floor at San Diego Comic-Con, and stopping and watching that and being, moved while people dressed as Doc Ock rustled past me with spilling nachos on me, and I was still crying.
Absolutely. Great. Lauren's got this one from The Last Jedi. Last Jedi is my absolutely favorite. Don't at me. No one's gonna at you here. Leia Del Rey, that they have everything they need at the end, gets me every time. I love that moment too. Yeah, it's so simple and intimate and quiet and strong from someone who knows. There's someone who absolutely knows that it's an earned piece of advice from Leia in that moment.
Absolutely. All right, I want to make sure got some of these older ones that I want to make sure that we get to. This isn't a super chat, but I think it's on a lot of people's minds these days. Extra cheddar. Don't know if it has been shared yet, but Nemec's speech from Andor is a favorite of mine, along with the prison break from Narkina 5. Yeah, I think people really loved Nemec's speech when it came out, and I think a lot of people appreciated the truth of it. I think particularly the parts about the deluge of horrors is particularly resonates right now here in America.
Yeah, absolutely is true. And I want to play that speech over my like house or my earpods while I'm reading Mask of Fear by Alexander Freed, because it's like, oh yeah, ripped from the headlines. Oh yeah, Nevik was talking about it. Oh yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah,
you know,
and also like the sort of physical media idea that is going on in those Nemec scenes too, of like they don't want us to know how basic machinery works. Is also extremely resonant at a time when, you know, we don't, as consumers, don't have the option to reject generative AI right now. You know, man, would Nemec have some manifestos to say about going on LinkedIn and going, LinkedIn's you need computer help on LinkedIn to go, congrats on your promotion. You can't, but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm dealing with that right now. Yeah. I'm trying to build a website for my voice acting stuff that I'm just starting, and you know, voice acting definitely under attack by AI. And I went to the website. It was like, use our powerful AI tools to build your website. I'm like, I don't really. Okay.
We've got a little bit more DS9 chat.
Oh, Phil's in on it too. Far beyond the stars of the visitor. Okay, are those the ones with baseball in it, Phil? Everyone tries to win me over with the baseball stuff.
The baseball stuff is real good. There's one episode that, in my opinion, just like on the surface of it, if you described it to somebody, they'd be like, how's that a great episode of Star Trek? But it is. It's about baseball.
Yeah,
oh, man.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Always open baseball.
Have people told you about Odo? Do you know about Odo? I think.
Yeah. I watched Benson growing up. I loved that. He was so tough. Benson?
Do you understand that Odo is grumpy and sleeps in a bucket? He's a beautiful character.
Yeah. I'll get there. I swear I'm going to get there.
The title, yes. Take Me Out to the Holosuite. Thank you, Jared. Is the title.
Take me out to the holosuite. Okay. Neil highlighted make 10 men feel like 100, like we said earlier. Do love that moment too. Again, the hammer of hope. It's not always a soft glove.
All right. Going back here to some of the older super chats. Yes.
Yeah.
Only went through a baseball episode. But there's a lot of handling. Yeah. Carmen Taylor, Han coming back to help Luke so he could blow up the Death Star. That is a great one. And to me, I think the more I think about it, just like a absolutely foundational moment of Star Wars, which it sounds obvious because it's like one of the moments in the climax of the first film. So not that controversial to say it's a building block. But I know I mention it a lot, but I have friends and thoughtful people who look at the Star Wars saga very quickly and say, oh, it's a story about dynasty. It's just a story about there's only one or two families who have power. And to me, it's just so important that built into the first film is, yes, Luke might be the only one around who could make that shot. But he would have never made that shot without Han making the choice to support him. And Han probably never would have made that choice without meeting Luke, without meeting Leia. It's a very vital hope moment to what Star Wars is and to the moment, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're right about that. And, not to undercut it with dumb canon comedy, but I also want to give credit to the conversation Chewie probably had with him in that moment as they flew away from Yavin forward. Chewie's like, again, we're turning the ship around, Han. Turn the ship around. Yeah, you're right. Chewie. You're right.
A couple months ago, I came across social media the natural edit of Empire Strikes, or the unedited Empire Strikes Back, where it's just Peter Mayhew yelling at Han in the in the Hoth chamber there. Like, what are you doing? I feel like that's what Chewie is saying. He's actually speaking like Peter Mayhew in that way.
Love that. We're talking our favorite moments of hope in Star Wars, but right now we're sharing all of yours. Of course, this is, if you're just joining, this is a charity stream. We are raising funny money and funds and awareness for Trans Lifeline. Great organization there, important organization there. Link down below also in our YouTube description, and St. Baldricks Foundation and their work with childhood cancer. So your super chats are going to those organizations today. Links down below as well if you want to donate directly. But also, we got some more moments of hope. Dagobah shorts, which it's probably most likely some short films set on Dagobah, but I do like the idea that it's shorts that you need to wear on Dagobah, and maybe Yoda owned a pair of 5. Obi-Wan looking at Luke with a smile before Vader strikes him down in New Hope gets me every time. Yeah. Ooh. That's good. There's a lot there, especially as the story of Star Wars has gone on, and we've seen a lot more with Kenobi and the storytelling around the twins. Yeah, that's a defiant hope, isn't it? That's, you got me, but you're gonna lose.
There are a lot of. I love that it is a sacrifice, but also it isn't, because he knows that he will. That luminous beings are we, but that could have been, as we've seen in many bits of storytelling, of the rage sacrifice of looking at Vader and screaming, right? But it's so just smiling, content.
Yep.
That there is
a
new hope, and now that it's new hopes, very, very, very clearly, he's smiling at both of them.
Yeah. Our buddy in London hotel lobby co-drinker Sean Room, as I say, checks in with a very generous super chat and making the heart emoji there. Thank you, Sean. Someone who hands out hope even if he sometimes needs it himself. He always hands out hope first. So thank you, Sean. Love having you around here.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
Chris King, combination of Luke's confronting fears, the destiny of a Jedi, and Yoda's alone, never have you been, and of Rise of Skywalker is so hopeful. I know you spoke on it earlier, Joseph, but we should always talk about it when we have a chance. Yeah, just the roll call of, it's not just a roll call of legends in terms of a canon checklist. It is just, to me, it is the franchise speaking to us in that moment. The hope has been there all along.
Yeah, and confronting fear is the destiny of a Jedi. I mentioned this before. I write that down on my my goals list for the year every year. It's not one that I can check off because I don't always succeed. It's just it's such a great way to summarize the personal journey that all Jedi must go on, and we should too if we're lucky. I wanted to share this for the High Republic fans out there. Liv Ramsey says, "Ooh, another personal moment listening to Escape from Valo and finding out Tep Tep is explicitly a trans girl. I may have cried. So glad I and the young trans girls have someone like her." I have not been able to get caught up on the High Republic yet. I'm still got a couple books finished in phase 2, and I'm really, really excited to get to phase 3. And this is another thing for me to look forward to. So thank you, Liv.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaks to the importance of representation, as we know, but sharing stories beyond just a representation checklist. It's sharing stories that are true and characters that reach out to everybody, but also to specific people as well. And that's why we like having a big table here at Star Wars and ForceCenter. So I really appreciate that, Liv. All right. So now there's just a lot of references to Deep Space Nine. Okay. All right. Okay. Tep Tep is adorable, says Star Wars Explained. That, of course, Alex and Molly does as well. Tep Tep. Got some fans here. Chris at Baraxium. Hey, Chris, there's an intimate moment between Iden Versio and Del Meeko after they break from the Empire. Iden tells Del, "We're Inferno Squad, you and me." At that point, they only had themselves to rely on. And that being a moment of hope. I love that because I think I love the character of Iden Versio. We've talked about her for years, but I think it's one of those characters. It's so long ago now. Video game came out that I think the character sometimes, and Del as well, sometimes gets overlooked. Shriv, Zay, they're all there. I love that moment, and that's a story of change. And I love too that it was Battlefront 2 in the story mode, and Janina Gavankar comes out at Orlando Celebration and Unveil, and it's like a story of an Imperial. And it's a video game from an Imperial side, and it's a cool. Inferno Squad is cool. The outfit is cool. I love that. She switches and that should be the story, and there should be hope in that. And standing up to her father, Garrick Versio, and him coming around and saying, "You're right, but I'm done. I no longer have hope. It's you." It's a powerful story that is important to celebrate. So I appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'll have to play the game through again just for those experience those moments.
Yeah, Shriv is such a pal. Shriv, man.
He is.
I want Shriv in Mando the movie.
Yeah. Ken, have you watched For All Mankind? We're just going to turn this into what Ken should watch.
Yeah. What? Did you tell me to what? Who? Yeah. What is that? Which one is that?
I don't tell. I encourage. For All Mankind is an alternate history show beloved by Alex and Molly as well, where Russians get to the moon first, and it changes history in fascinating ways. But the wonderful actor who does the voice for Shriv is in For All Mankind, which is what made me come to mind.
Okay, and it's a Ronald D. Moore joint, along with others. But yes, okay, I like it.
It is shorter than Deep Space Nine.
I'm listening. Let me get through hacks. And then we'll get to that.
For All Mankind contains in the most recent season. This is a light spoiler. There's a character that we follow who's one of the main characters who tries to change but doesn't always succeed. And there's a scene where he's got that older person mindset of, if I think it's good, then everybody must. And he's trying to connect with a loved one, and without asking, puts a bunch of Parmesan cheese on their food when the person does not want it, and kind of tries to stop them halfway through. And is shocked when the person gets mad, even though they said, I don't want it. And he delivers what is, in my opinion, one of the best lines in all of storytelling. He says, but it's cheese.
Not wrong. Oh, it's amazing. Love it. All right. I'll add that to the list. I can't let you down, and I definitely can't let Alex or Molly down. I mean, come on. Street Noise, thank you for the super chat for charity today. Having Wicked as your loyal best friend when your entire family's been brutally killed in battle for Andor. Yes, that is a way to find hope in the darkness. To bridge gaps, reach across aisles. Absolutely. Oh, that's a great one. Yeah. And, always love a Wicked reference. Thank you, Street Noise. Hugo, Visions 2 is some of my favorite Star Wars. Half the stories bring me to tears. Love how different non-English speaking cultures around the world connect to and build on the theme of hope. That is one of the important things about Visions. One of the things that's so well respected. Love, Visions 2. So many wonderful things in that. Absolutely. Great.
I need to revisit that, but that dancer episode, man,
so good,
man, and definitely got some real world inspiration, resonance.
Absolutely. Jeannie from Tahini comes back with no, there's another. We're also focused on Luke as the only hope. So even if the hero is reckless, even if he failed, hope remains. Yes. And then you got to spend 3 years wondering who is that hope. Who is that hope, Joseph? Did you go to the playgrounds with your theories on who the hope of another was?
Yeah. It's like, is it Chewie? Is it Lando? I mean, we were... When you look back, like, in the modern media landscape, there aren't a ton of candidates. There are only so many characters in Star Wars, right? Like, is it the Wolfman from the Cantina? Like, I mean, can you imagine? Like, it's so funny to me when you watch it now. Like, it's Leia. Yeah,
right.
I mean, the woman who is clearly in tune with the Force at the end of one of the main characters, and the one who's clearly in tune with the Force. I think that's
Did we got to go back, girl? Yeah. I do love though that you could have been on the playground for a good portion of 1981 selling your Chewie theory. Maybe make some stickers. Chewie is their hope. Hear me out.
I was very young, and it was, I think, a different media landscape. Where I knew the name George Lucas. I'd seen the behind the scenes of how they made the Tauntauns run, but to me, it was just so absolutely. It just is. The story just comes, right? So yeah.
And Liv points out a little bit of Star Wars lore. The idea that it was maybe going to be someone else entirely at first. Luke's sister wasn't going to be Leia. There's all that in there as well, which makes the playground theories all, important and valuable. But yeah, absolutely. Looking back, I wonder if Lucas had that moment too, where he's like, "Ah, man, it was right in front of me the whole time.
David Mackay. No, there is another bigger Luke walks out.
1995, Luke walks out. Matthew Stokes, we highlighted this earlier, but I love highlighting it all the time. It's not a Navy, sir. It's just people. I think the underrated one that's kind of in that moment is the Orbaks. And you can't get block their speeders. They're not on speeders. They're on horsies. And there's just a lot of hope in that moment too.
And BB-8 doing his best to keep up.
Yeah, I love that.
Doing a good job.
Love that moment. Brian Ward, when Cup Toppers came back for solo marketing, that gave me hope. More Cup Toppers. I'd really like Andor Season 2 to have Cup Toppers.
Yep.
That's what we need.
Yep. They should sell them in 12 packs for Kino Loy.
Can you imagine getting a Edie Karn Cup Topper? Oh, there you go. More coming in here, catching up again. Thank you for your charity super chats here today. Bill Rudd, my dad's birthday is 2/28, and Rise of Skywalker was the last film we saw in a theater before the end of his 15-year cancer battle in 2020. Hope is the ability of a silly space fan has to bring together parents and children. Love it, Bill. Much love to you, even now and forever. Really appreciate that. I had made friends with someone named Zach Bassinger who had passed away. God, it's been a couple years ago now. He was a Star Wars fan, ForceCenter listener, and we had a good interview, but a good talk of just even the simple hope of the next Star Wars movie, the next Marvel movie, kept his life going, quite frankly, and the story of Luke. And I think of him often and think of he would have loved so much of the storytelling that came after The Last Jedi. So yeah, I'm with you, Bill, on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very powerful. This isn't about hope. This is about cup toppers. I have a Death Trooper cup topper I got from my 4DX Rogue One viewing. Love that thing. Late at night last year during the Phantom Menace celebrations, I couldn't stop myself and invited a Darth Maul cup topper from eBay to come be with me here in my home. And it is the most ridiculous thing. It is
late at night, 2 a.m, you sipping a martini, just click. I got to get that.
Kurt Vonnegut used to say, I have this problem late at night with the alcohol and a phone. He would talk about calling people. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Brian Jackson, Mr. McClunky, you guys, FC, ForceCenter, giving hope. Thank you. Hey, no, thank you. We take the kind words. It's been something I've been learning in life the last couple months. Take the compliments when given, receive them, acknowledge them, but also make sure you give it back. You all truly are a community here, and we really appreciate you showing up today.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, here's one I wanted to share from Gaz Nottingham. We had each other. That's how we won. To Poe, the amazing rise of Skywalker, and someone else had another Lando one. Here we go from Alex Cameron Smith. Lando at the Battle of Endor. Han will have that shield down. We gotta give him more time. That was another one of those moments of Rise of Skywalker that I thought was more elegant than perhaps people gave it credit for. That Lando's being there for Poe, and when Poe is down and out and mourning Leia, the words he says are nice, but they aren't just trite. They aren't just like that. He's referring back to this moment in Return of the Jedi of having faith that Han will find a way to pull this off. And it would have been easy to say, yeah, Han's probably overwhelmed. He's probably screwing it up. He's probably stepping on twigs down there. Let's go. And Lando didn't. Yeah. And that's how they won.
Yeah. Lando going, yeah, you're right. It is a trap. It is. We're stuck in it. Let's go. Got to give him more time. No, I love that, Alex, and I love that, Gaz, too. Those are, that moment in Rise of Skywalker. And I know the lore that Oscar asked for a little bit more, wanted a little bit more with this character in the moment, and it was perfect. It was perfection. Love it. Though JB just say it's a trap. Knowing it's a trap gives me hope. Yeah. Knowing that you can spring it. Absolutely. Rich Rodriguez. Times to know there are more of us. There are more of us, but also anything Leia or Cassian say. Yeah. Leia's a good dispenser of hope. She knows. She knows. Thank you, Rich, for that generous super chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Patrick donating as well. Nick donating as well. We appreciate that. Nick seems like a great name, like it's a solo side character. Like, I got in that card game with Nick. He won.
Nick it.
Indeed. Malcolm, no question. Just want to send some money to a good cause. And get again to watch DS9. There we go. We'll do it. That's less of a good cause, but I'll watch it. I'll watch it for Phil, too, as well. I'm going to watch it for all of you. And for myself. There you go. Cleared the decks there. So we got more time with you all here. Share your favorite moments of hope.
Yeah, moments of hope. General questions. We'll take anything here if you want to send it to us. There's lots of great Star Trek and cup topper talk.
Yes. For Andor, I want a Perrin cup topper. Yes. Put them absolutely more Perrin, and I don't love Perrin. I just want more Perrin because I don't love all. I love the performance, but Edie's a villain. I want more. I want an entire episode of Edie's Day.
Yeah. We didn't get to talk about Edie. Seemed like she was wearing some finery in that one shot we got. So I wonder if she is going to be able to have successfully climbed, because I think Andor has been doing such a good job talking about class systems. And Edie does really want to be in the upper class, and she wants Cyril to do it too.
Indeed, absolutely. Physics buddy Joe, we all need a physics buddy. They win by making you, especially now, they win by making you think we're alone. We're not alone. Good people will fight if we lead them. Absolutely love that. Important as well. Important to the arc. Oops, sorry. Brought that back up. And Joseph's right, too. If you got any general questions, we're here. Maybe another 45 to answer your general questions. Like I said up top, not taking calls today. Normally, we do like to take calls from our Patreon supporters. Just wanted to concentrate on your questions and donations today. So if you have any questions, go for it. Let's see here.
Ken, one part of Poe's speech that always gets me in Rise of Skywalker, and I don't know if we've talked about it a ton, is what our mothers and fathers fought for, we won't let die. That always gets me. Does that hit you, that generational sense to the battle?
Yes, it absolutely does. Even when past generations seem to forget what they fought for, not to swing... I'll swing right into the world. I have Ukrainian blood in me, and I have family members with a lot more Ukrainian blood in me, and they seem to have forgotten that, even on a day like today. And it's puzzling at best. It's maddening and tragic at worst. So to have it acknowledged that it's a generational fight, and you got to keep that going, you got to make that choice to keep it going, and then maybe you, as a generation before, have to make that choice to keep fighting. Especially if the problem still exists or flames back up. I think it's not necessarily everything about Lando's story in Rise of Skywalker, but you and I have talked about it. In a movie that is about what you were in the past can be left there, or you can change, and you can continue to move forward. You can be something else. And part of it is Lando feeling he's old and out of the fight. Who was there? And he makes the choice to come back. I love that, and I love that there.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and Lando's offer at the end.
Yes, to Janet.
Janet to help find where she's from. That's amazing. But yeah, I think that moment has always moved me, because I think it ties to us as fans, our journey with Star Wars, because we lived through and internalized the fight that the previous generation went through. But also, I think just really. It's resonating for me right now, of like everything going on in the world that's horrible is horrible, and it always is. I've been thinking about my grandfather a lot that I don't think about often, who fought in World War II, luckily survived, but was emotionally devastated by it. And I only knew a shadow of a human because of World War II, and he was depressed, lived alone in a hotel room, and most of the time when I saw him, he would just talk about how he should have married that girl he met in France right after the war instead of my grandmother. And that was about the most hopeful thing he ever said to me. But it's just like, he's always just been my weird grandfather. And it's a fact that he fought in World War II. And it's a fact that it emotionally kind of wrecked him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But be thinking about, those are the lessons. Those are the sacrifices that people are forgetting today. That makes it all a lot more. It makes it immediate. It makes it powerful. And I think that's part of the reason that Poe line came to mind.
Love it. No, yeah, generational fight, and the idea that I think a lot's been made recently of when Force Awakens showed up, and they're well, as we got the same stormtroopers again, we got the same TIE fighters, which was not true. There was changes, but the idea of like, JJ and team going, what if the evil we thought we got rid of just kind of coagulated and returned, and people give that more credit now, unfortunately, than 10 years ago. So part of the fight continues and the generations go on. Ken Plume checking in here. We stand together, we fall apart. Thank you, Mr. Plume. You'll be happy to know, Mr. Plume, a lot of DS9 talk going on today. Thank you for joining the show here. Cindy K just joined on with the stream after work. Grateful for the ForceCenter community, the good causes the stream is supporting. Thank you, Cindy K. We appreciate you supporting those good causes. Yes. All right.
And Jared, the TIE pilot, making the bold declaration: TIE fighters will always be around.
You're no bad. I love the TIE fighters. I love an Andor. We're going to see a newer version, at least one on screen finally. So it's good.
Oh man, that one looks cool. I can't wait to see all the details. But it's got a little bit of a TIE striker body, and I like the TIE strikers.
The TIE strikers are good, underrated around these. We're celebrating around these parts.
Sometimes late at night, there's some eBay temptation about that TIE striker they put out for Rogue One. I really don't have room for that guy, but so cool. Big bat in Star Wars.
It is. I never thought. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the TIE fighter Dracula would fly. The TIE striker. Put it that way.
You hit the TIE striker. I was going to do a bad Dracula voice. I'll keep that to myself. Rich Diaz, this question is Ken knows I read his book and loved it. It came out in 2019. Yeah, I know. I'm old. Prior to Skywalker, any moments would you add since then, including those from all Star Wars movies, TV books, comics, video games? All of them. I mean, it'll never happen. I don't think I'll ever write anything like that again. It's not worth the. I don't know. I'm stuck in the cynicism of capitalism, where it was not an endeavor, a money making endeavor. Not that art needs to be, but so I'm sometimes down on the process. But everything. You see, that's why I love talking about Star Wars. The essays we put out for a while, Joseph's one on tech and the Leia moment and the Jar Jar and the Queen moment. Yeah, just finding ways to talk about the moments that moved me from that moment on. Yeah, it's crazy to think. Long time ago.
A lot of Star Wars. Yeah. And we've been talking about hopeful moments, but there are a lot of just fun moments, kind of endless fun moments from Andor, and so many moments from Kenobi. Man, it's a hopeful moment. The conversation with Leia about what it is to be adopted into have that be your real family, and for Kenobi to sort of portray the Jedi as finding a new family the same way Leia did. That would be in there for me.
Absolutely would be in there. Chewbacca. Hey, thank you for the super sticker and the supportive super chat. Keep up the good work. You guys are the best. We appreciate that. Chewbacca. Love that there. Oops. That there. Brian Ward, you can make money from art. I hear tell. It's possible. Other moments, any other questions for us? General questions about Star Wars or any movies or stuff outside of Star Wars? We're happy.
Brian has a great question here. You can make money from art?
Yeah, exactly. That is the question.
A far gone past day where it was possible.
Love it. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the book thing. Dan says the people who are writing a book a business card now, real time consuming and expensive business card. I happy. Yeah. It's a thing. Anyways, other things as well. Marjo, when Shmi tells us Anakin to not look back, oh, that's a great moment. She wants her boy to live. She has hope that her sacrifice by staying can give her boy a chance, even if not with her. Don't look back. Don't look back. Oh, that's such a powerful moment. It's one of my favorite moments in Star Wars, and framing it as a hopeful moment, despite being a hard moment. But it's in a way, it's one of those actions that eventually, through a lot of pain and suffering and torment, eventually saves the galaxy. A lot of it does come from Shmi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it is so powerful that almost every line out of Shmi is what Anakin needs to hear in Revenge of the Sith, in particular, to not make all the bad choices that he's making. Listen to your Padme, everybody. Listen to your Shmi.
Listen to your Padme.
Listen to your Shmi. Listen to your Padme.
He's a political ideal. Shut up, Kiadi. Listen to Padme.
Yeah. This got one here from Douglas Dubois. I'll pop this one back in here. I love when Padme humbles herself to Boss Nass in his jowl-shaking response, where he commits to working together with Naboo against the occupation.
There's so many things about that moment that we can discuss and have discussed. I always do focus on the Padme. It's it's a humbling, but it's an acknowledgement of a troubled past between these two folks, these two peoples, to say it lightly, to keep it in the Star Wars world. But like she has hope in the moment that this thing I should do, not just need to do, not just want to do, this thing I should do. That's going to be tough. That's going against my people, my city, the ones I lead. Like, this is not something that's happened. Not something that I think another leader would have done at that moment. But she does it, and just approaching it with that hope is the hope that changes Nass. And look, Nass is Nass, but I love him, and he was right to join the fight.
Yeah, I love that moment is just such a culmination of Jar Jar's role in who Padme is in the Phantom Menace, of the initial, like, her being kind to him and asking about him and reaching out to him on the ship. And them having sort of a heart-to-heart about their mutual home, giving her the idea. So it builds up to that moment of, treating Boss Nass and the Gungans with respect. But it is also like a very creative solution. And you could see if Seal Bibble was with her, he'd probably be bubbling along about why she shouldn't make every choice that she's making. They're creative, daring choices. So it is, the whole thing is sort of a package of, I think, Star Wars values of empathy, creativity, thinking outside the box, and the explicit, I don't think I'm better than you. And in fact, you hold all the cards and I'm asking for your help because you have power.
Yeah. We need help. No, love a moment. Love that moment indeed. Great stuff. Yeah, and again, always listen to your Padmes. Always listen to your Shmis. Chewbacca, it says, sorry if you already talked about it. Are you liking the Mask of Fear? And find it somewhat hopeful in these times. I am loving it. I'm about 170 pages into it now. I think it's well over 400 pages. Yeah, and there's and it being stunningly. Again, it's hard. It's just down to some little weird, minute details where you're like, "Wow, okay," it just kind of hits home. I think there's some hope to be found, not yet in the book, but there's some hope to be found in just this space fantasy story that where it goes. It's helping me to just kind of be in it in a slightly safer way, if that makes sense, because I'm also in it on checking the news every day and going, but to be in it in this story, just kind of process some of the stuff and even kind of understand what's going on and the bad things going on, and seeing it in terms of Star Wars, like, oh yeah, you cry, like, oh yep, oh that's not good, that's not good. So there's a weird hope in that too for me.
I haven't read it yet. Started it myself. I'm going to start it. I'm really looking forward to it. When it first arrived, I was like, "Ew, man, maybe I need escapism." But the more I think about it, I think for me, it's important to think about the fact that the horrors that are happening in America are the blatant nature of them. They are unprecedented in America, but the process of fascism is super precedented. And I think reading a Star Wars story that's been trying to wrestle with this possibility, that is one of the reasons Lucas started on this storytelling journey, that I'm looking forward to the comfort and kind of, we're not alone.
Yeah. When you think of those, George going, man, what kind of story do I need to tell? Oh, I got it. I'll wrap it up in something really fun, but it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. More questions coming in.
This is there's a good one up here, that an important one that I will find here, Ken. Oh, here we go. From Street Noise: opinions on gonk droids and why they're the best.
Yeah.
Here's my gonk droid opinion that I've been given, Ken. We have been lucky in the real world to catch up with many technologies that I saw when I was a child. I remember watching Batman and Superman talk to each other on a television screen. And now if somebody tries to FaceTime me, I'm like, please don't. And, things from Star Trek. I love the gonk droids because I love them in the galaxy. And then I think, would I want one in real life? If I had a USB charger that walked around my house saying its own name out loud, just saying USB charger, it would annoy the hell out of me. But in Star Wars,
charger,
incredibly charming.
I love that idea. Yeah, I've always loved, I'm pro gonk. And just in terms of we as Star Wars fans, it's one of those weird little things we own. And a lot of that is, we just had that Star Wars ranked on our favorite characters in Jabba's palace, but we talked a little bit, but that poor gonk droid getting tortured. It just, as a kid, it just broke my heart. And I think about that poor droid often. So I want to fight for gonk droids. And then Gonky comes along and just cements it all together. That's great. Gonk droids.
Rich D says this, following up on our Gungan chat. I mean this sincerely. Jar Jar surviving in canon is a lesson of hope to keep moving forward. You can make it through and be okay on the other side for Jar Jar and Ahmed Best. Yes, I mean, absolutely, for Ahmed Best, the human being, for Jar Jar, the character, for people who like Jar Jar, and I think for kind of Jar Jar as the lightning rod of all of the various complaints that people had about the prequels, but Jar Jar sort of being the biggest and the most abused. I think he's symbolic of the prequels having a different life these days than they did even a few years ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My love of Jar Jar has only grown over time, and a lot of it was that hearing the truth of Ahmed coming forward, and one of many people affected by the dark side of social media and fandoms over the years, but have him come forward with his truth was pretty important and powerful and valuable lesson. But also to see where we are now, it takes a long time. Hope could be deferred, but to see it in action is always a good thing. Love Ahmed.
And we got some gonk droid follow up as well. Bill Red says, I built a full-size immobile gonk, and it sits beside my recliner, and I love it. That's awesome. I would love a full-size gonk. Yeah,
absolutely. Phil shows next, right? Record-saving gonky gives me hope. That's a great moment.
Yeah.
Some more super chats coming in. Thank you for those who are just joining. We are doing a charity stream today for Trans Lifeline and St. Baldricks Foundation. Links in descriptions, but also our super chats today going to those organizations. We got Chris King. Sorry, I thought this was a repeat question. It's a small moment for Force Awakens, but Rey's, I didn't know there was so much green in Han's look at her. Gives me hope that older generations can be less hardened and more empathetic to young voices. Love that thought. Love that scene. Love that all through the sequels, there's so much of Rey experiencing the elements, or experiencing community. The Aki Aki Festival is one of our favorites here. Of just, this is what we're fighting for. But I love The Last Jedi putting out of the rain and just the hope of going beyond your world. In fact, but going back to the Han moment, I mean, first of all, that was just a sign that she was someone else, right? Remember that? Remember we'd break down that scene where Han would look at her. I can't tell her secret. She's Kenobi's child. But to move beyond that to the actual just meaning of the scene, it's powerful. So great stuff, Chris.
She's starting to remember her cousin Corky. Yeah. No, that moment was so clear and beautiful all by itself of somebody who is truly new to the world, and I think it echoed back to Han, the way Han saw Luke's naive but hopeful but optimistic self, and was kind and supportive to him. Then when Solo comes out, and it's nonverbal, but you kind of see Han's "I never knew there was so much green" when he has just that look of utter satisfaction. It isn't like he has never seen space before, but it's that same kind of wonder at finally being free.
Yeah, finally being free. That's a great, love that there. We have still going here. Questions coming in. Super chat here from Jeffrey Arterburn. Oh, I thought. Well, maybe it's supposed to be Jeffrey Arterburn. Okay. We'll name him Afterburn if he wants. Rigid members of different tribes, paths and acts, choosing to lower their blades when Grogu steps between them and says no. Yeah, there's a lot of hope, and a lot of the times that Grogu has kind of said no, or this Rancor needs a nap, and I'm going to help him. No, I absolutely love that moment. The hope of not just overcoming differences, but the hope of realizing you're all connected.
Yeah. I think all of the Mandalorian, but Mandalorian season 3 is very clearly so focused on that, getting past very rigid cultural differences among the Mandalorians, and I think I look forward to rewatching it, just knowing that's what the story is, and because like you were saying about the Han Rey moment in The Force Awakens, I think during the Mandalorian season 3, I think a lot of us were caught in the speculation train. And I think Mandalorian season 3 is telling a clear, direct, important, beautiful Star Wars story about how hard it is for people who would clearly benefit them to work together. And from the outside, like, you're not that different. The struggles that they make to work together is a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to shout out this young man, Hillbilly Scribs, a.k.a. Jeff Saunders. You don't see the Empire using gonk droids because gonks have the power inside of them. The Empire fears individuals with powerful souls. Maybe. That tracks. And as I said up top, this is a charity stream today. We are taking all of your super chats and raising money for the Trans Lifeline, also St. Baldricks Foundation. In the YouTube description, there's a link to support Jeff Saunders and his local shave-a-thon in Texas, New Braunfels, Texas. And that is our man right there, Hillbilly Scribs, who does some wonderful work, hard work as a nurse at a hospital specializing in kids with cancer and other diseases. His work is very tough. And so if you want to support him directly, there's a link down below here as well. But we'll be supporting him as well. So, Jeffrey, good to have you here. And I think you're right about the gonks and the power inside.
But now I'm picturing like Imperial Dark gonks.
Imperial just Luke coming in here. Hey, hello, ForceCenter. Thank you for helping me understand some of the deep themes of Star Wars. They have kept me positive during these dark times. Whose arc you're most excited for in Andor Season 2? I mean, is the answer not Edie? I mean, it seems like it might be Edie, but no. Where do you go? Is it Perrin?
It's Mothma. I mean, I enjoy everybody's story, but Mothma is the one that I'm most interested in. She's got a really interesting arc, I think, to where she ends up in Rebels. We've talked a lot about all of the setup for the Gormans. But I think it's been really great to see this extremely human, extremely realistic face put to this character that, I met when I was a little kid in 1983, and she was she was a boss lady who felt bad that the Bothans died, and she was a great leader, and you kind of knew her as almost a trivia fact that she's the leader of the Rebel Alliance. But getting to really know her and getting to see the richness of coming from this very wealthy but unique culture, and then I think extremely relatable position now of like a I know the system has been captured, but I still need to work within the system and outside of the system at the same time. And how do I balance my morality with that? There's so much that's interesting about it. And then also, for me, that it is a middle-aged woman who is destined to be the leader of this alliance also, I think, creates lots of interesting perspectives. So I'm most excited for myself personally about Mothma.
I think I am too, and this is, when we talk in favorites, it's never to cast aside any other part of the story. Cassian going on, Bix, Brasso. I mean, I'm predicting some sadness in some of these stories too, but maybe not. We'll see. Krennic coming back. I just want to see him shoot up some scenery again. But in my recent rewatch of Andor, I got to tell you that, anytime we went to a Mothma scene, particularly at the parties and everything, like I wanted to go right back there and stay with that scene and stay with Mothma for a long time. So I think I'm absolutely with you, seeing where she goes. And we joke, but what happens to Perrin? And is it just simply part of her journey? Her going, F tradition. We're done, pal. Like this is not something we need, or is it something bad? There's a lot there. And the fact that, now going into speculation mode, but in that little TV spot, getting what looks like Krennic at her house or a party or having a conversation, like them chatting it's going to be main event fun. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, what a swell party this is. I bet Perrin and Krennic are going to be old pals.
Oh,
you just get that vibe of like, where are you going tonight again, Perrin?
It's my buddy Orson. We like social climbing together. Come on, Mon. Why do you have to be so dour all the time?
It's fun at parties.
Yeah, indeed. Great stuff there. JMB says, 9 Numb laughing gives me hope. I really agree with that. In the midst of all that, looking at Jedi, in the midst of all that, him laughing, just like, we got this. We got this, team.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing if Poe asked Lando in Rise of Skywalker, how'd you do it? Like, his 9 Numbs laugh. That's what held it all together. Speaking of hope, look. Sometimes you hope for something, and it's validated right way. Phil's got some some good news for us. Mon's arc in season 2 is amazing. Man, I can't wait to see it.
That's great.
That shot of her dancing, man. If that's the tease for what it is, I'm so excited.
See, but the thing is, Phil's probably saying that while he's looking over like the final proofs of the Art of Andor season 2 book, going, no
dancing art, man.
Yeah, the Mothma dancing art. Love that there. Also, hey, our pal Jennifer Muro's here. Opinions on Star Wars Forces of Destiny. Which episode gives you the most hope? Says Jennifer Muro of Forces of Destiny. There's a lot, man. Jin's episode is great. I always go to Leia and how she got her dress, because to me that's all about her and her connection with the Ewoks, them accepting her, her accepting them first with Wicket, and I've always loved that. Always loved that stuff. Mm-hmm. And overall, I love Forces of Destiny. And I'll say this: Forces of Destiny, number one's how I met you back in 2017. But it was the first time too where this is somewhat negative, where not to the series, but I like the first episodes come out, and one of the first episodes has BB-8 flying through the air, and like Rey catches BB-8, and there was like legit serious discussion about, well, wait, how much does BB-8 weigh? And I don't know. And I was like, oh, okay, we're losing the fun here, people. We're losing the fun
here. This is a strange interpretation of hope, but the nod that, of course, Ahsoka would pick up on the vibe between Anakin and Padme. That was like, yes, our characters are emotionally intelligent. This is a weird, different approach to Forces of Destiny and Hope. This starts out in a weird way. I have far too many photos on my phone. I've rolled them over. I have over 60,000 photos on my phone. Woo! Half of them are of martinis. So every once in a while, I take time and just like go through. I pick a random month and I start deleting. Yeah. And I picked in 2017 San Diego Comic-Con, where I'd taken many pictures of action figures and display cases, and as I got deleted a bunch, it's like, well, now I own every one of these. And I was taking pictures of some of the Forces of Destiny action figure dolls.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice it at all at the time when I was taking the photos, but in almost every photo on the other side of the glass was a woman of a different age looking at those figures in a different way. Looking at those figures of like, here's action figures are for me as well, but here's something that is for me, or here's something that I see something different in Star Wars. That was a really cool experience to see that in those photos.
Number one, that's great and that's powerful. Two, are you sure it wasn't a ghost?
It was different. What if that would be amazing if when I go, all I do is haunt other people's pictures of action figures. Like a picture of action figure and it's just me wanting it.
Every time, every picture I took, there was this spectral image of a lady looking at the. Yeah, no, but no, it's great. And I remember that line when it came out too. I think I even had taken a picture and sent it to Jen too, of just like, this is a continuation of the joy this series brings. Love that. It's a Comic-Con ghost, is Kingsport. Yeah. Street Noise returns. R3X gives us hope that you can be a horrible pilot and still switch careers middle age and be a successful DJ. Yes. If you go to Galaxy's Edge to the cantina there, you get to see your favorite Star Tours pilot now spinning tunes. And R3X does a great job spinning tunes.
Yeah, the music's great. I love the music there.
I cannot wait to get back. I don't know when I'm going to get back to Galaxy's Edge because I went on a rainy day 2 days before the pandemic shut everything down, and my appointment for the bar was 10 a.m. and I like drinking. I don't like drinking at 10 a.m. when I'm trying to taste everything, so I want to get back.
Yeah. Oh man. The last time I went there, I got good instructions on the right way to ask to be put on the wait list and get texted later, as arcane things in the app. I was able to go there with my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, who has since passed. And so it's very, very happy memories of that place and Rex spinning the tunes.
Spinning the tunes. All right. This is such a Kingsport Cal. I love you, Kingsport Cal. Here's to whatever charity. I'm sure it's good. Joseph, why is Quinlan Voss so badass? So I don't have an answer. I don't need the answer. It's all you. It's all you.
You can answer. I have feelings about why Quinlan Voss is a badass. He's a multifaceted Jedi. He is a Jedi that has embraced many aspects of what it is to be alive. He has romantic feelings. He has a sense of humor, and without shirking his responsibilities, a sense of adventure and whimsy. And all of that in the face of also being a character who has survived some of the worst trauma of a Jedi. I won't spoil it for people who haven't read Dark Disciple, but that is a journey for Quinlan Voss. In canon, at least, we don't have that much time with that character, and every moment is distinctive and unique and powerful, and he looks cool as hell, and he's some representation that we need. So Quinlan Voss is a checklist to why he's badass.
Yeah, and Jay from Nowhere sums it. Dreadlocks done. That's
see another thing. And he scratches his name on places he's visited, as we learned in the Kenobi show. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you, Molly. I think Quinlan Voss he's in a system. He's part of an organization. He's part of an order, but he's such an individual and has many reasons to be hopeless. And he finds hope and he finds a smile. I love the episodes with him in Kenobi and the Clone Wars. I love that he is kind of the alternate, not that Kenobi's way is bad, but just like I love that he shows up. It's an odd couple roommate situation. I'd love to explore more between those two, and just that individual approach makes him a badass in my mind.
Oh man, I would be fine if that was the next animated series. Is the year that like young Obi-Wan and Quinlan Voss had to work together for like a year and just have it be a total buddy comedy.
Yeah.
Where Kenobi gets to be the grump and Quinlan's the cut up.
Yeah. Okay, I got to address this scandalous Molly Damon, all right, calm down here. I've seen you dance to Chapel Roan with me. All right, my name's Ken, and I'm too good to drink at 10 a.m. It's not that I don't enjoy a good 10 a.m. drink. It was rated. I was forced. No one likes forced joy. No one likes forced joy. Joseph knows I'm hard to pin down sometimes. I'm restless. You're telling me I have to be here at 10 a.m.? I could go get a turkey leg if I wanted. That was the problem. All right. We'll tell you what, Molly, Alex, next time you're out here, why don't we go together and we'll drink a little bit later?
Yeah, let's drink at 10 a.m. But it has to be a choice. We can't plan it.
Exactly.
I love this. Is like a straight up sitcom joke of like, do you want to drink at 10 a.m.? Are you telling me to? No, it's your choice. Well, then okay, I'd like to.
Okay, yeah. Do I have an option here, or can I go get a Ronto wrap? But hey, it was a good day. We spent our entire. All right, Phil's. All right, I apologize for the DS9 slander, Phil. All right, I'm back. Phil, you're invited too. Phil, why don't you come down? We'll drink at 10:01. We'll make this happen. There you go. We got Jay from Nowhere checking in as well. $11.38 donation. Love that. Mom, you said the biggest problem in the universe is no one helps each other. God bless it. I love that moment. And in an era where we are not even reevaluating, but coming back to such all the wonderful moments found in those films, particularly Phantom Menace, and to see a great update from Clayton Sandell on Jake Lloyd, from Jake Lloyd himself. The contributions of Jake Lloyd to that character, Vader, Anakin, the character that goes forward in Star Wars, so many of the building block moments are delivered perfectly from Jake Lloyd. And I love that moment. It's full of hope.
Yeah, and I love how many people, fans, connected that line to the Citizens Fleet in Rise of Skywalker showing up.
Yep.
It's so great. I also just want to really celebrate that our friend Molly Damon is very, very good at just letting the wound close and then immediately reopening it. She says about drinking at Galaxy's Edge, we went at 8 a.m.
Okay. You know what, Damon Clark, I got stories of you. I've been drinking in Highland Park with you and Alex and Van. I know stories. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. No, a lot of fun. I can't wait to get back. I also can't wait to go to another wedding when I get to dance to Pink Pony Club. We had a great time that time. So more of you get married and invite us, or just throw parties. We don't even it doesn't need to be a wedding. Can't we just throw dance receptions? Let's do that.
Can we have a different kind of hope, a speculate responsibly hope that I want to get your take on? Liv says, I personally have hope that Shin and Sabine might become an item in season 2, trying to not hype it up so much, but the sapphic energy is intense. I do think that there's, to me, undoubtedly a connection between them. And even if it just ends up being a sort of a thematic, we're both the younger, we're both the apprentices, the Padawans. I felt like they were kind of paired up that way. And Sabine felt rejected by her master. And in Shin also had a sort of shaky relationship with her master. And in the end, it's kind of inverted that Ahsoka comes around and gives Sabine all of this support that she needs. And Shin is rejected for not being team.
Balin just goes
Mortis to hit the reset button or whatever he's going to do.
Kick rocks.
And that
you're done. Kick rocks.
Kick rocks. And that they are set up to be sort of antagonists in the dynamics of that planet. So I think they're definitely tied together. And I definitely feel like for myself that there are vibes and chemistry there. So I hope that relationship of them seeing one another in one another continues. And if it got to a point of a relationship, I would love that. My general feeling about Star Wars romances is I feel like we've had some light touches on romance in modern Star Wars. And I want all in. I want Han and Leia. I want Anakin and Padme. I want passionate romance, capital R romance. Got a little with Solo and Kira, but other than that, it's been vibes, and I want it to be not vibes. I want explicit, big time part of the story.
Yeah, absolutely with you on that. And on the energy, it also helps that and I mean this in the greatest way, that the performers have also gone on. Their connection is real, just in terms of friends and coworkers and everything, but just the energy and the playing with the idea with their characters. I hope it comes to fruition. I think John Boyega and Oscar Isaac kind of wished some things for their characters that maybe didn't happen, and that's disappointing in its own way. But also, to your point too, of just a good old fashioned kind of sweeping romance. I wouldn't even know this one's going to be sweeping. It seems like there's going to be some fighting going on, and I like that, and that could be just fun in terms of important for them to get together in Star Wars. I think while like there's a great, you remember Robotech season 1, Joseph, but two characters, Max Sterling and Miriam, are from opposite sides and all the stuff. They're also the two best fighter pilots for their sides and everything. And they meet and they have in what is classic anime style, have a knife fight outside of a video game parlor. Mm-hmm. And the knife fight literally ends with their kiss. So I'm not saying that's going to beat for beat happen, but to have those characters, they're set up like you said. They're on that planet. They're both in similar situations. I absolutely could see that going that way.
Mm-hmm. Street Noise says Osha and Chimere, and definitely vibes there. But for my money, I was looking forward in season 2 again, going straight at it of they're already in a relationship. I need Brian Ward to make me a T-shirt. There's more than vibes. I don't know. You know what has a lot of great vibes. A lot of really great romantic relationships that are, first vibes, then developed over long, great storytelling, is Deep Space Nine. Has some of the best romantic relationships.
Which I will find out when I check it out. Absolutely. That's amazing. As Fat Nick says, there's not enough romance in Star Wars anymore. To the degree, and I get why too. I think from 2015 on, I mean, and again, there's romances and Osha and Chimere come together, but I think it was also, for me, this is my take, but I think it was important that Rey didn't have to be immediately connected with anyone. That it was a different story, and we didn't necessarily need to have her be swept off her feet or sweep anyone off her feet. It was a different story, and I got that. But I think now we have enough room to just sweep it, man. Just sweep it like it's Bogey and Bacall.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of Ahsoka, Gaz says Ahsoka made being stuck on Peridea hopeful at the end of season 1 when talking to Sabine, and then seeing Anakin and watching with approval cemented and up the hope level to a 10. Yeah, I love this sort of like where we're where we need to be. We're on the right path, getting the thumbs up from happy Hayden Ghost. Great emotional thumbs up, not literal.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, we are here for just a couple more minutes. Oh, time got away from me. Yeah. So, if you got some final questions, ask away. Also, thank you to everyone who has donated today. We are, as we've been saying, but just to reset, we are raising awareness and funds for Trans Lifeline and also the fine folks at St. Baldricks Foundation. So we really, really appreciate what you all have helped us accomplish here today. But final moments now.
I wanted to grab this from Street Noise because it's a fun detail of Star Wars that I love. Street Noise says, I love R2 and 3PO being the only guests at Padme and Anakin's wedding. 3PO seems so proud, but how the heck did he keep that secret for years? Good job, 3PO. Yeah. This is some Star Wars headcanon. I've mentioned before at one point, there was some interest in trying to do some sort of stage play that's kind of the life of Obi-Wan. So I had some fun working on a draft of that, totally out of speculation, realizing it was not a thing that was likely. But one of my favorite things to think about is having Obi-Wan go back through his entire life and imagining once he became one with the Force that he was able to know everything of just Kenobi being snarky about the droids. The droids were at the wedding. It's so Anakin, and it would so get on his nerves. Like, it's so Anakin that he hid this from me. All I got were vibes. I couldn't get him to talk about it. but those GD droids
Those
at the
droids.
wedding. Imagining Kenobi thinking about that just amuses the hell out of me.
I love that. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, look, shows you can trust 3PO more than maybe we think.
Yep.
I see you, Phil. I mean, Deep Space Nine is no Young Guns 2, but it's pretty good. Look, this is a fact. And the one thing Young Guns 2 lacks is a sweeping romance, unless you count the one between Billy the Kid and Doc. They loved each other. They really, really did. Where was this one? Did I love you? There's so many comments today, but sometimes I sweep past them. There we go. I am the Ben dude. Just got here, so apologies has already been mentioned, but I always love the scene when Luke says, I want to come with you to Alderaan. It's a moment he sees larger life. Yeah, a lot going on in his life at that time, but just kind of, better or worse, unfortunately, broken of your moorings a little bit there and wanted to connect. It's hopeful in its own way indeed, too.
Mm-hmm. Ready to move on. Ready to tackle the dangers and the wonders of life.
Yep. The Ben Dude abides. There you go. Well, Molly Ever, the captain here. I love this. Give the video a like. Yeah, we do appreciate that as we continue to hack our way through the YouTube wilderness here. But we really appreciate all of you showing up all the time. We'll be live again Monday for questions. Unless there's any breaking trailers or news, we'll be talking about high fantasy in Star Wars, speaking of Shin and Ahsoka Season 2. So that'll be live Monday, 12 p.m. Was that 12 noon Pacific our time?
Yeah, looking forward to that. Lots of great things to talk about in our news show. And then who knows what will drop by the time we do our question show.
Yeah, full trailer, maybe a full Andor trailer. I don't know. More articles, more news, more rumors. So there you go. I don't know. Do you see anything else, Joseph? I think that's about it.
So many great comments and thoughts and discussion. So if you missed anything, apologies. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming to our future 10 a.m. drink and discuss Deep Space Nine meetup that we'll be having.
Respect.
Two of my favorite things.
Yeah, two favorite things. There you go. So for those watching later, yes, you can leave a super thanks, and we'll include that to our donations to Trans Lifeline and St. Baldricks Foundation. Links down below to donate directly, St. Baldricks and Trans Lifeline, or to Jeff Saunders specific. I think it's about a week left before the Shave-a-thon in New Braunfels, Texas, for the St. Baldricks Shave-a-thon event there. So that is it. We'll see you next time, eh?
Bye.